We will, in the words of that referendum slogan, take back control of our borders from the end of this year, the end, in other words, of the Brexit transition period. What might follow is severe disruption to supply chains, in particular the 10,000 trucks which pass through Dover each day. That, at least, is the warning of business organisations representing those in haulage and logistics who are asking ministers to take seriously their concerns. Amongst them, the Road Haulage Association. Their chief executive, Richard Burnett, joins us on the line. Morning to you.
Good morning, Nick. How are you?
I am well, but you seem very worried, and a warning of severe disruption. Why?
Well, look, I think it comes to the point where we're very frustrated. I think frustrated as an industry with government not listening. You know, we've had years of this, clearly we've gone through COVID. We're getting ready for transition. We've had lots of meetings with lots of government departments. Border and Protocol Delivery, HMRC, DFT, and we're simply not being listened to. We are no further forward. 6 weeks ago, we were raising concerns. Nothing's happened around, the grants to support, trader readiness and getting customs brokers on board, systems that simply aren't ready, that we have no sight of, increasing systems. We're deeply concerned.
Systems not ready. Let's focus on that to start with. In other words, the paperwork you'll have to do in these days, not paper so much as online. Are you saying that the IT that your members will have to use isn't ready yet?
Well, it's not ready yet, and we haven't had sight of its full functionality. And there are going to be an additional 10 systems that we're going to need to use, across both GB and Europe. And certainly from a HMRC perspective and DFT perspective, those systems are not in place, and we are not going to be able to train hauliers in terms of its functionality until we see it. But I think the bigger issue here is about customs. It's about customs agents. There are going to be another 220 million declarations that need to be completed, and that means another 50,000 customs agents to do that. At this stage, government have put a fund forward, but it's capped by state aid, and actually, the onboarding process, even if you can find a customs agent, means that any business that wants to onboard has to kind of work with that customs agent to upload information, cleanse the master data and prepare themselves. And that takes weeks or months as well.
Which is quite a lot of jargon we just need to be a bit wary of. But state aid you're talking about, in other words, these are EU rules that limit the ability of governments to give money to companies. You're saying that the DFT, Department for Transport, we're going to hear from the Secretary of State at 8 o'clock, you're saying they should find ways, are you, to give you more cash?
Well, look, we're coming out of COVID. Businesses are struggling. This industry is a very marginal industry, and therefore, when you're asking it to invest in something, when you haven't got a revenue stream until the 1st of January, so 50,000 people need to be employed at a cost of £450 million between now and the end of the year.
Is that all this is, though, Mr. Burnett? Because some people might listen to this and say, "Here we go again. His company's just saying, give us some money."
It's not about money. It's about time, and it's about the reality that it takes 6 to 12 months to actually train a customs agent, as well, and get them up to speed and get these businesses up to speed. So there are lots of constraints here.
One last thing to get your comment on. We learned last night that ministers have taken remarkable powers to build lorry parks all over the country without the involvement of local councils. Why is that necessary?
Well, I guess in terms of lorry parks, I'm not sure that they're necessarily classified as lorry parks. They may be areas around the country that are inland clearance, centres. That's probably what they are. I think we need to be careful about the jargon that's being used.
Clearance, in other words, dealing with the sort of paperwork, the logistics that we're talking about.
Correct. That's exactly it.
So, final word: how serious a worry is this, or are you simply saying, let's have a meeting?
No, we're extremely concerned about it. The whole industry coming together and saying, look, we need to talk to the heads of each of the departments where we're seeing blockages. This shouldn't be taken lightly. We need them to take what we're saying seriously. They need to listen to the detail, and we need to find a way of working this through between now and the end of the year.
Richard Burnett, Chief Executive of the Road Haulage Association, thanks for coming on.